I got the list, guys. Boom, right here. So last week I had talked about my NBA West video. I talked about how I made predictions for the beginning of the season and kind of where the standings were, where some of the teams were, how they are compared to where I had them. Today I'm going to talk about the NBA East and the video that I made, as well as the standings on how things actually are. So right here on my list, I had the Bucks first, the Celtics second, Cavs, Hawks, Heat, Nets, Knicks, 76ers, Bulls, Wizards, Raptors at 11, Hornets at 12, 13 Pacers, 14 Magic, 15 Pistons. So after that, actually looking at the standings, you got the Celtics, the Bucks, the Sixers, the Pacers, the Cavs, the Knicks, the Heat, the Magic, the Bulls, the Nets, the Hawks, the Raptors, the Hornets, the Wizards, and the Pistons. So the Pistons, I had correct. They are the 15th seed. I had the Nets at 6. That was, I believe... Why'd I have the Nets so high? Because that was after the KD trade. Yeah, that was after the KD trade. I'm surprised I had the Nets that high. I was just kind of comparing real quick to see if there was any teams that I got like right on point, which other than the Pistons, I didn't. But I did get the first two seeds right, which were the Bucks and the Celtics. I thought that, and I believe they were the top two seeds last year as well. The Sixers might have been in there. One thing that I do want to say is that the Bucks, the 76ers, and the Celtics have pretty much been the standard for what is a top contender in the East, even though the Bucks are the only one of those teams that have actually won a NBA Finals or a championship. The Celtics have gone to the finals. The Sixers haven't been past, I believe, the second round. I did have the Bucks and the Celtics first and second. 76ers are in there as well, which I should have assumed they'd be in there. For some reason, I was doubting them because of the Harden drama, but should have known they would have been able to figure it out. A team that definitely did surprise me to be here is the Pacers. In my original list, I had the Cavs as the third seed, the Hawks and the Heat under them. The Heat, I had them there because although I didn't think they were going to be the first or second seed, I knew they were going to be a good team. And I know coming the playoffs, they're going to be a better performing team. So it doesn't really matter what position the Heat are. I feel like they are still going to be one of those teams that's in playoff contention or in the conversation for a team that's going to be scary and that you don't really want your team to go against. But the Pacers are somebody who really broke out this season from not even playing in the play-in tournament last year or having been eliminated in the play-in last year to be the fourth seed. Now, I know that in the East there isn't too much of a separation between... there really isn't too much of a separation between anybody other than the Celtics and the Bucks. The Sixers are right behind the Bucks, but at that point, the Pacers are right behind the Sixers. The Cavs are right behind the Pacers. The Knicks and the Cavs are tied. The Heat and the Magic are right on the Knicks and the Cavs tails. And then you got everybody else pretty much falling in line. A team that did surprise me is the Hawks. I know the Hawks right now are they're pretty much having a sale, trying to get rid of everybody they can, including Trae Young if the deal is right. So it's interesting to kind of see or think about what's going to happen with them. But I am surprised they really underachieved. Having them on as a fourth seed, and then them being the 11th seed with Trae, with DeJounte. Last year in one of my other season predictions videos, I had thought they were going to be a top 4 seed as well. Just because I felt like Trae's one of those guys, DeJounte's one of those guys. Being from San Antonio, having seen his progression, I really thought he was going to kind of make a push into being one of the more elite guards in the NBA. Depending on where he goes, maybe we'll see if maybe the fit just wasn't right for him. I know as a Spurs fan, when he was with us, he really was more of a point guard. He was a facilitator for our team. He had the ball in his hands most of the time. So I would like to see him as a main facilitator again. I have a homie that that would like to see DeJounte on the Spurs again with Wemby. He believes DeJounte will be a good player to set Wemby up, because we really do need people to set Wemby up to kind of just be the best version of himself, which I don't know if DeJounte can do that. But if he can get back to that NBA type defending type player, he'd be pretty good for any team, honestly. And he is still a good facilitator for any team. The Knicks are a 6 seed. I had them as the 7 seed. It doesn't surprise me. I thought they were going to be a team that's in there. I didn't expect them, or I still don't expect them to do that much in the playoffs. But I didn't expect them to also be bottom feeders either. I do respect Julius Randle, not as much as I respect Jalen Brunson, but I thought they'd be a serviceable team. So I'm not surprised to see them where they're at. The Heat, they are the 7 seed. I had them as a higher seed, but like I said, I'm not expecting the Heat to really overachieve in the regular season. I'm expecting them to overachieve in the playoffs. So for now, I'm not really even going to talk about them. The Magic, who are currently the 8 seed. So let me see. Out of all of these teams, it's not really about who can fall. It's about who can get better. And honestly, between the 8th and the 9th seed, there's kind of a divide. I know it's just a 3-game sample size, a 3-game difference. But from what it looks like, every team that's on here is probably going to remain here unless there's some type of injury, or unless there's some type of major trade that a team makes. I don't really see any of these teams slipping too much, especially because of how close. Now, the positions might switch between the second to like, it's hard to say that the Bucks and the Celtics are really going to fall off unless there's a type of injury. The Bucks, the Celtics, or the Sixers. But I feel like there's more of a difference between the Bucks and the Sixers and the Sixers and the Pacers. There's a chance that the Pacers can take the 76ers over, especially if Embiid misses a couple of games. I know he's already missed a couple of games this season. There's even chats that I believe if he misses like 8 to 9 more games, he wouldn't contend for any awards such as MVP. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen with that. But pretty much like I'm saying, or as I've said, everybody that's here looks like is going to stay, at least from the 8th to the 1st seed. Everybody that's there might be locked in already. And if the season ended today, you would have the Nets. Damn, it's crazy that the Heat would still be in the play-in tournament, but you would have the Heat and the Nets, the Magic and the Bulls. I would assume the Heat and it can be between the Magic or the Bulls, especially since it is a 1-game sample size, but I would expect the Heat to beat whoever they do face if they were to be in the play-in tournament. And then after that, let's just say it stays how it is, you would have the Magic and the Celtics, the Heat and the Bucks, the Knicks and the Sixers, the Pacers and the Cavs, which all of those will be really good series, especially the Heat and the Bucks. The Heat and the Bucks, I know the Bucks to some people underperformed last year. Giannis had the whole speech about there's no such thing as failure, but all of these matchups are going to be good. They're going to be interesting at least. I don't see any of these going too deep into the playoffs or too deep into the games, as in 6-7 series games, other than the Heat. Whatever the Heat are, whether they're a 4 seed or, if they're a higher seed, I believe they can take care of whoever's under them. So let's say it's Celtics, Bucks, Sixers, Heat. They'll be able to take pretty much care of anybody under them. But if the Heat are a bottom 4 team and they got to play one of those upper teams, that's going to be a 6-7 game series that your team is not going to really want to play, just because the Heat are one of those teams that can surprise anybody. The Bucks know that. It happened to them last year. I'm interested to see how much of a push they're going to do to try to get that 1st seed, to try to avoid the Heat for now. But other than that, like I said, I am just going to try to keep this a standings video. And I believe that's pretty much where, that's the standings video right there. To to whoever is watching, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. If you're watching this on Twitch, follow me on Twitch. If you're watching this on YouTube, follow me on YouTube. Follow me on my Instagram, which is at a basic Martin, and my new one, which is the Martin Experience. Other than that, I'm just gonna keep on coming with the content, whether it be NBA, gameplay, or whatever. I am planning on just being at least a little bit more consistent in 2024. But again, most of that is actually putting in the effort and doing it. I can't just tell y'all about it. But again, to whoever is watching, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And y'all have a good night. Thank you.